Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia chapter 145, and a very short chapter this week. Supposedly, if I understood correctly as to why this chapter was so short, it's because apparently this chapter was split into two. There was first the main chapter, and then there was an Omake chapter, which was very funny. Of Ochiko just having a conversation with Bakugo about how he and Izuku need to get along, which was funny. Don't get me wrong, but supposedly, like from what I understood of it, they're basically combining these two types of chapters together because apparently the the apparently the I guess the translators ended up getting the rights to some ended up getting rights. I think it was some side stuff. I think it was some other content that's My Hero Academia related or something, and they're just translating it out now, I guess. But yeah, like it's one of those things where it is funny stuff, but I this does make me wonder though, like if these getting these these translations for all this side content is affecting how Horikoshi is writing the main story, because like I said, this chapter was very short. It's like only 12 or 13 episodes, 12 or 13 pages. So like I wonder what's going on there, like, or if Horikoshi's going through something. I really don't know, but yeah, it was a very short chapter. But I guess if Horikoshi's going through something, I say we'll let him deal with it. But other than that, um, this chapter was interesting because again, in terms of following up from where we left off last chapter, it gave us a little bit more of Baku, a lot more. It gives I guess the ending moments of the backstory of our favorite hardening boy, Ejiro Kirishima, and Kirishima's, and we finally get the final moments of Kirishima's backstory. And the thing about Kirishima is that he sees we see him. He's still slumming it. He's still doubting himself to the fact he couldn't even fucking even jump into the fray and save him. And it's funny how one simple word, one simple encouraging word from it was Red Riot managed to have a new outlook on how he acted, because in many respects it is kind of, I guess it is kind of iffy how just one little, how at one point he was doubting himself, even with Red Riot's whole, how it is kind of iffy, I guess, for me, how at one point he was he was kind of doubting himself even with what Red was saying, but now he did feel motivated, which I guess if you look at it a certain way, it is an interesting point to make, how only by understand it is kind of very. And I know people hate these comparisons, but it's very a Naruto-esque thing. How, but by understanding what you fear, you can understand others. It is a very kind of Naruto-esque way of looking at it, I guess. But by understand, and in this case, it was understanding by understanding your fear and overcoming it, you help others who share the same fear. Like I said, it is very Naruto-esque thing, but it is kind of, it is providing its own take on it too. Like, it is a simple, but it is a very effective message. By basically understanding your own fear and overcoming it, you can help others who share that exact same fear. Although I would, although like, although Kirishima did say in this chapter, which I really like, how he was only afraid, how the one thing he was afraid of was how the one thing he was inevitably afraid of was reverting to how he used to be. And Agent, my boy, as much as I love you now, and and I'm happy to see that you have learned from your past experiences, because he I think if nothing else, he has. If nothing else we can take away from this chapter, I think Eijiro has learned that in order to become a true hero, he has to he has to work past. He has to learn that he has to learn from his past and not and work towards changing who he was. And he has. up to this point, I would say he has done that, and up to the point of where we first introduced him, I'd say he has done that. He really has changed a lot since then, but I would say now is kind of that final nail in the coffin where he's really decided that no, I'm not going to be a scaredy cat. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna be afraid of who I once was or who. I'm just gonna focus on who I am now and the hero that I have the potential to be and the hero I am now. So in a way, I can't help but hold respect for him. Hold respect for him if he's gotten to the point where he has overcome his fear completely and he's just gonna go all out. Also, can I just say, Ashido, she is slowly working her way up to best girl with the way that she was basically, with the way that she was with the way that age that with the way that she's always been by but she's always been but she's always been the one who's been a friend to him and the one who's always been supporting him when he feels down. So like Shido, you are slowly working your way up to best girl. Like you're an alien girl, but you are best alien girl, I guess at this point. Like yeah, just the way she's been supporting him and just making sure that he doesn't go down a path of being scared or anything like that. And I just love how chipper she always is of trying to and trying to make him feel better about himself. And I think at this point it is kind of nice to see that there was, and I do understand now as to why Ashida was put in that flashback. It was more than just to show a connection. It's just to show how Ashido has changed, how both Ashido and Red Right have changed age age judo as a person. And yeah, like Ashido best girl. I'm just gonna say that right now. And another thing about this chapter is that presumably from the last page of the actual chapter, Fatgum has presumably defeated Rappa, which moves us ever closer to the final confrontation that we've been building up to, which is Izuku and Tokita versus Overhaul. And I'm trying to count if there's a couple more of the precepts to defeat even before we get to that. But if I'm doing the math correctly, I think we are getting ever close to that one. We might have a couple more precepts to clean up, but other than that, like it looks like we're getting to the final confrontation and the reason why this whole operation began, which is to save Eddie and that whole thing with Izuku and Togata. And I'm just eagerly waiting an Izuku and Togata versus Overhaul battle, and I can tell you that shit is gonna go insane. Although I get the feeling, like prediction, I get the feeling there is gonna be a bit of a hiccup in that plan. Like I want to say that the villain alliance is gonna make another appearance soon, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my review. Again, it was a very short chapter, but it was a nice chapter for what I was just finishing up on the backstory of how Kirishima became who he was today. And yeah, just an overall a good episode, honestly. Just overall a good chapter, honestly. And yeah, My Hero Academia, great as always. Um, but yeah, guys, that's my video. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight of MMA, signing off. Later.